What is up, degenerates? It is Thursday, October 16th, 2025. We had a red day in the market, but there's some good news. Stand by. I'm going to show it to you. First, I want to look at REX shares real quick. Remember, REX shares is 1 to 1.5 leverage. The underlyings were, as a whole, were down 1.63. REX shares were down 1.88. So they captured 15% more. But NVIDIA was up 1.1%. And the REX shares, NVII or NV2, was up 1.08. So they captured almost 100% of that, 98% of that. But that's REX shares. It's in a bull market. It'll do better. In a bear market, it will do a little worse, but you're making income. Their yields are, TSII is the best at 79%. MSTY is the worst at 27%, but that's still awesome. I want to talk about Yieldmax. Let's go up to the top here. A lot of red. Chippy was up 0.44%. They're a basket of chip stocks. NVIDIA in there, I imagine, and they were up a little bit. And then we got red. Salty was up, of course. That's they short the market, basically. They were up 0.55. Let's see what else. Crash, which is the Tesla inverse fund. They're shorting Tesla, basically. They're up 1.28. Tesla was down 1.47 as expected. GUI was up 0.02. Google was up 0.17. Not much to talk about there. And everything's down. Dips, inverse of NVIDIA, was down. But NVIDIA was up 1.1. GDX was up 3.67. That's a gold fund, gold miners. And GDXY from Yieldmax was up 2.83. They captured 77%. Not bad. And again, they're all weekly now. And I'll show you how I get to their yields in a minute. Mara, bad day. 11.27% down. Maro was only down 8%. So, again, they're doing what they're supposed to do. When the underlying goes with Yieldmax, they're kind of 1-to-1 with the synthetic, and they do covered calls. So they're making income even when it's going down. And it shows right there. They captured only 71% of the loss. Let's see, what do we got? Like I said, NVIDIA was up 1.1. NVIDIA up 1.16. They captured 5% more than the underlying. I love Yieldmax. And you'll see when I get to the bottom here. Fiat was up, of course. That's the inverse of coin. Coin was down 1.8%. Fiat was up 1.06%. Fiat, when I did my top 10 last week, was the highest yielding Yieldmax fund. I do my yield based on the last 3 payments with the current price, but we have a new one, and we're going to get to that in a minute. Everything down. AI was down 6.33. AIYY down 5.04. So you're a little protected on the downside because you're making income on the covered calls. The covered calls are winning. You know, if the stock goes down, then you're getting income from the covered calls. Circle, CRCO, made their first payment today, or declared their first payment today. Circle was down 4.48. CRCO was only down 4.34%. We got to name that one. Circo? It's not Cirque du Soleil, so I don't know. Anyway, a lot of red. Strategy was down 4.35. MSTY was only down 3.99. Winter, of course, is the inverse of strategy. Strategy was down 4.35. Winter was up 2.29. And then YQQQ was a short NASDAQ, and the Qs were down 0.37. YQQQ was down, or it was up 0.35 as expected. But let me show you this. All the underlyings were down 1.8% on average. Yieldmax was only down 1.25%. So hate Yieldmax all you want. This is solid when the market goes down, and it went down today. But that's why we own these funds. We're making income even if it's going down. But I want to show you this. This is kind of huge. I put in all their, let me go back to the top. The old weeklies are, Chippy, GPTY, Let's Freaking Go Y, all that. I put their payments in for this week. They pay tomorrow, and their yields are 37 on Chippy, 33 on GPTY. Again, based on the last 3 payments and the current price. LFGY, 70%. QDTY, RDTY. The lowest yielder is SDTY of the Yieldmax funds. That's 18.73%. So, again, that's on the S&P. Where else can you get that? Nowhere, other than here. Salty was up 0.55. What are they yielding? 76%. They're catching up with Alti. In a down market, they're going to beat Alti because it's similarly, they do collars on bearish things they're bearish on. Alti does them on things they're bullish on. Alti's still the GOAT of the old weeklies, which is now Group 1. They declare Tuesday, X date is Wednesday, pay date is Thursday, so they're paying today. YMAG 58%, YMAX 63%. They're always pretty close. I think these are going to, going to weekly will stabilize these funds, because you'll see some of these payments are, they can't go down much. For example, Crash, which is the inverse on the short Tesla fund, and what I did was, if you look up here, I took their last 3 payments, 16 cents, 12 cents, and 8 cents. 16 cents I divided by 4, because it's a Group A fund. They used to pay every 4 weeks. It was Group A. So 16 cents divided by 4, 12 cents divided by 4, and then this week 8 cents divided by 2, because they haven't paid in 2 weeks. So they lumped it all into this week, and I divide it by 3. I get an average is 4 cents, 67% yield. So they're gonna keep paying. It can go down. It can go down to 1. It can go to 0, which Feet and 5e did, but we know why that happened. And I did not put Feet and 5e their zeros in this week, because the underlyings did not pay in the last 2 weeks. So I left that out, and Feet is at 38 cents average, 61% yield. 5e is at 28 cent average, 39%. But let's go down some to what I really want to talk about. Robley on Roblox is a 94% yield, still Group A. So I did divided by 4, divided by 4, divided by 2. And then next week we'll get a true weekly. We'll get that with the old Group Bs, which you'll see here in a second. But Tesla, 82%. Everyone, remember you hated on Tesla. Tesla's, I love Tesla. I own Tesla. If it's in blue over here, I own it. I own all these. And I'm not selling them. I'm going to rebalance towards the end of the year just for tax stuff, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But Tesla's 82% yield based on the new weekly payment. So, let's go down. I want to show you what's Bobo, 88% yield. They're averaging 27 cents. Now that's Group B. So the last three were 79 divided by 4, $1.88 divided by 4, and 13 cents. And I did not divide that because that's Group B. They paid last week. So that's a weekly, an actual weekly payment of 13 cents. Morrow, 81%. But I want to go down. I want to keep this short because you guys are degenerates and your attention span's no good. DraftKings, Dre, 92% yield. Fiat, an inverse on Coinbase, 96%. Coney's at 77%. I still own Coney. I love Coney. They're Group C, so I gave them 4 weeks of payments. I mean, they paid 34 cents. That was 4 weeks. 45 cents. That was 4 weeks. And then 34 cents this week, which was 4 weeks. So they're averaging 10 cents. You think, 10 cents sucks. That's 77% yield. It's a $6 fund. So I love it. We did DraftKings. GameStop, 62%. Nothing crazy. Hui, 89%. That's also Group C, so they paid 4 payments in one. But I averaged them, so it's actually, we can expect that weekly. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. Consult with a financial advisor. But that's what we're looking at. Microsoft, 22. Nestle, 34. But it's going to get juicy here in a minute. Serco, they made their first payment this week. It was $2.47. I divided it by 4. Should I have? They were Group D, so I should divide that by 3. That'll change things. Not much. Well, 94% on Serco. Yeah, the rest I have on divided by 3. This is Group D. They paid 3 weeks ago, so I divided the newest payment by 3, the last 2 divided by 4. But look at this. MSTY. Everyone hates MSTY, right? Last 2 payments, $1.08 divided by 4, $1 divided by 4, and 60 cents divided by 3. That, they paid 3 weeks ago, so that's what I did with that to make it an actual weekly payment. The average is 24 cents. That is a 104% yield. So if you hate MSTY, if you've sold MSTY, you're going to regret it. It's not quite the GOAT, but it's still the GOAT. SimSy, 90% yield. And I want to look at SimSy real quick. SimSy, SMCI was down only down 0.19% today. SMCY was only down 0.13, so they only captured 71% of that loss. So that's good stuff. But the GOAT, or the winner, the highest yield based on the average of the last 3 and the current price, is Winter. That is a short strategy on strategy, MicroStrategy, whatever you want to call it. 107% yield. So the strategy funds with 107% on the short side, 104% on the long side, I mean, buy them both. I don't own Winter, but seriously considering it, I own MSTY, and I'm just collecting dividends. I'm not buying any more of it. You know how I buy. I buy more degenerate stuff, but I love that. So anyway, let's go to Defiance. Let me zoom in so you can see it a little bit. Now Defiance, they're 1 to 2 times leverage, if you want to call it that, and they lost about 2 times. I'm not going to go over the specifics, but you'll see it here. The underlyings were down 1.58%. Defiance funds were down 2.72%. They went down 171% more. So nothing fancy with Defiance. I own IWMY. They're still paying 54%. Love it. And they're weekly. These are all weekly now, except for Bitwise. Yieldboost. Everyone loves Yieldboost. I'm going to show you why. Let me zoom. Here we go. When the market's up, Yieldboost is capped. They sell a put, they get a premium, that's your income. They're completely capped on the upside. But on a down day, like today, they have a protective put. So they don't go down as much as the underlying on a big red day. For example, COYY or CONL, which is the double leverage coin, was down 3.66. COYY from Yieldboost only down 1.85. They only captured 50% of the drop. TSYY underlying was down a little over 3%. They were only down 0.26%. They only captured 8% of the loss. HOYY, same thing. SMYY, SMCX, double leverage at SMCI, was down 0.55%. They were up 0.41%. PLYY, similar, up 0.17%. The underlying was down. MSTU, double leverage strategy, was down 8.55%. MTYY was only down 3.86%. So this market's overbought. It's going to go down consistently, in my opinion. Not financial advice. But these are great for that. Because when it goes up, you're going to make a premium. BitX was down 5.7. XBTY was down 2.05. Only 35% of the loss was captured there. The NVDL double leverage NVIDIA was up 2.09. NVYY was up 1.43. They captured 68% of the gain. And again, we can go on. I don't want to bore you with that, but on average of the Yieldboost funds, they're from Granite Shares. They pay every week. They declare Thursday. They declared today, and these are in here. X date is Friday. Payday is Tuesday. The underlyings were down 2.7%. The Yieldboost funds were only down 0.56%. They only captured 20% of the losses. So, big thing to say about Yieldboost. Income Blast. I love the name. You guys know I've been talking about this. I have a bunch of funds coming, but only one now. And I've already put the other funds in as soon as they launch. I'm hearing November 5th, but we'll see. But BitK, which was number one on my top 10 based on yield, was down 2.53. underlying IBIT was 2.75 down. So they didn't lose as much, almost as much, 91%. They paid 3 times. They're weekly. They declare Thursday. X date is Friday. Payday is Monday. This is my only Monday payer, but I do own this. Averaging 76 cents a share. That is a 179% yield. Almost 180. So that's solid. I'm not going to talk about Round Hill because they're big funds. They declare tomorrow, which is Friday. So we'll talk about that, tomorrow night or Saturday. But that's what I want to talk about. I mean, the main thing was Yieldmax with MSTY and Winter. They're leading the pack on. Let me zoom that a little more. And that shocks a lot of people because all I hear is hate. MSTY sucks. Yieldmax sucks. They don't. They're designed to go 1-to-1 with the synthetic. Strategy has been down. And in fact, let's look at a chart on strategy, MSTR. MSTR down. But MSTY is Winter's capturing that downside. MSTY's still making income as it goes down. Now their NAV is going down. I can look at I've got all these lists. I've got MSTR here and all the funds. We got MSTR we're looking at. MSAI is rec shares. It's following. I'm an income investor. If you're following this channel, you may be too. If you're not, that's okay. But MST down. W same. MSTY same. IMST from Bitwise same. And then of course Winter inverse. You'll see it's up. Look at that. They're almost identical except the inverse. But the market's overbought. If you want some hedges, look at some inverse funds. Fiat for Coinbase, Winter for strategy, Dips, Crash for Tesla, and I think it's a good way to diversify on these. And again, not financial advice. Give me a like. A lot of work went into this, especially the Yieldmax funds because they went to weekly, and I had to, I put the groups in here, the farmer group, just so I could figure out how many weeks it's been since they've paid, and I average that in. Look at Murney. They're Group B, so they paid last week. 7 cents divided by 4, 15 or 11 cents divided by 4. This week 2 cents. Their average is 2 cents, but it's 70% yield. It's $1.72 a share, and that's as of the closing today, which is Thursday. Do you think it's gonna do a reverse split? Maybe. I don't think they want to. So as long as and I think the new strategy going to weekly, I think they're doing some protective things with the options. I think we're going to see more stability. We'll see, and we'll watch that, and we'll talk about it. But I like what they're doing, and let me know what you think. Hit the like. A lot of work went into this, so at least hit the like. And that's not for me, that's for you. That helps the algorithm. It'll bring more people here that are looking for this stuff, and it'll help you see more videos that are into this stuff. And subscribe if you don't, of course. Hit the little bell, turn notifications to all, and that will show you when my videos are coming out. And I'm in. If it's a premiere, I'm in the live chat. I don't premiere a video that I'm not going to be in. If I'm not going to be in it, I just send the video. So if it's a premiere, you can jump in 30 minutes prior, and we'll chat about it. We can talk smack, whatever you want to do. Anyway, have a great Thursday. We will talk again tomorrow, probably. We'll see what the market does. But usually, I mean, lately, when you get a red day like this, you're going to get a green day tomorrow. Unless, Trump tweets or Elon tweets, or there's, some other stuff going on. The market is very neurotic, and but we don't care. We don't time the market. It's time in the market. So anyway, have a great day. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you on the other side.